Hey everybody, my name is Rick. Welcome to Rick is Playing with Unix. That's me, just playing around, seeing what's what, and I'm gonna focus this video on two things, actually three things. Neofetch and htop are the two pieces of software I want to talk about, and then I want to dig a little bit into the tmux and screen just for a minute or two. But neofetch, what is this thing about? Well, I can't remember whether it was on Reddit or is it this thing? Okay, yeah. I can't remember where I started seeing images that look like this. Let me bring up the keynote. Basically, it looks like this. I'll go bring up a terminal, and I'll do basic. Yeah, that's basic, all right. And if you put in neofetch, what you see is a nice little graphic and information about the machine on which it runs. And again, on Reddit, I think it was probably some subreddit on look at my cool new desktop. There was always a picture of a terminal window and this cool thing where they display it, where you don't, I never saw the command that people did it on. So it was like, I think it was like clear neofetch. So you didn't, I never saw the command until I started digging into how do people get this output. Now, neofetch, it turns out, is a bash program. It runs bash, or it's written in essentially a shell script. So if I go back to this window, and I do which neofetch, if I do a file on this thing, it's going to say that it's a shell script. And I think that's just absolutely terrific. And I meant to do this off screen, but I'm just going to do this right now. Let's just look at what's the script. First of all, how many lines is this thing? 10,572 lines. So well, we got that going for us, but there is a main program, it seems, here. And if I scroll up and look at this, oh, I see. I was trying to do the % sign to do a parentheses matching, but it's clearly matching some ASCII art that's buried in here. That's cool. I bet if I do a search on this, I'll see some different functions, and it's pretty cool that it has these options. Here's a the command line for how to do it, but I can just as easily do neofetch help, and yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff here. Really cool. And anyway, it was something that I was curious about for a while. Where did that cool ASCII image come from? And it is pretty ubiquitous. It's available on a lot of different systems. So I don't have it on my Raspberry Pi, but I can install it. And I love that it wants to install a whole bunch of stuff. All of these to me are interesting. Like, what are all these things? I'm familiar with ImageMagick, the popular tool to do image manipulation, but the others are new to me. But I'm gonna install this from Raspbian Debian and just see what it brings us. I wonder if it'll recognize that this is a Raspberry Pi, or if it'll just say, oh, you're running a Debian. No, it recognizes, it doesn't recognize the OS as being specifically from Raspberry Pi. It actually detects that the OS is a Debian, which is right. Yeah. I like all these little pieces of information here too. Let's give it its own screen, and we can do the same for neofetch here. I just like these ASCII pictures. It does make you feel like you're running on Unix when you're doing this stuff. So the OS here for Mac OS is here. I kind of wish for OS it would say Darwin, but technically it's Mac OS. That's the branding. Then the kernel is 20.6, but I like the uptime information. This Raspberry Pi up for 8 days now. When I shut down the old Raspberry, when I did a shutdown on the Raspberry so I can install the 64-bit, it had been running for, I think, almost 300 days. And I have it tucked away behind the television in our living room, which is to me a minor miracle. I have it there because I wanted to plug it in directly to the router that we have from Xfinity. I don't know why I wanted to give it all the bandwidth, but I like too that it detects the shell. Interesting that my shell on the Mac is 5.2.15, but I think it's because I used Brew to install the latest. I probably can do probably 5 or 10 minutes on Brew, but just to see what I've installed, I know one of the first things I did was install a new bash, because I was interested to just have like the latest bash. I wanted Globstar, but we'll get into bash. That could be like its own separate. That could be like a multi-part episode here. But so while that's working, other things here is like the desktop environment shows that it's Aqua. The window manager is the Quartz compositor. Then when you come over to the Raspberry Pi, it doesn't have that information. But it does have information like its CPU, And here it has this BCM 2835. So maybe if you're a Raspberry Pi geek, you know that this is an older one. This is a 3B plus. Yeah, here it is right here. And you can see the chip also. This the Mac. This is an old Mac. This is a 2013 Mac. I almost wish it would have that too here. That it would have like late 2013 or 2015. That's how the Macs are known when you go to the Apple website. And then of course the memory. I got 8 gig total here. This thing only has the 1 gig, but I mean, I'm comfortable in 1 gig. I'm not doing much. I'm not even running a web server on this thing, if I remember right. But anyway, so neofetch. That's the whole thing I wanted to say about neofetch. I discovered what it was. It's this program that prints this pretty cool ASCII art. And just to show you how ubiquitous it is, I'm going to log into a very popular shell system called the it's free shell, freeshell.org, SDF, as it's known to those who are on the geeky side or who are in the know. And it has a copy of neofetch on here. And this thing, when you look at it, you can see it's a NetBSD. And I thought, this art doesn't really evoke what this is, but yeah, you can see some information here. There's 16 gig of memory on here. This is a NetBSD, so if you do a search on NetBSD, you see its cool logo, which is this flag. So that's what we see with NetBSD. There is also a F called the meta array. And if I log into this, it has a neofetch also. But this is running a Debian, a Debian 10 system. So I think mine is a Debian. I've already forgotten. So if I log out of here and log out of here, let's do a quick. I'll just get it from the OS page. Yeah, it's 11. Yeah, I thought it was later than Buster, which is number 10. So that's neofetch. I did look to see what the buzz was on neofetch. I went to its GitHub page. One of the things I immediately look at is what's the last commit on main or on master, and it's from pretty much like a year and a few months ago. So it's kind of getting a little stale. And then look at all these pull requests. I then searched on it in Google Groups. I like doing searches in areas that are I guess not off the beaten path, but just a little more specific, where there's a little bit more signal to noise. When I looked in my Google Groups, I must have been on this list here and found this post. This is a bug on the Linux Debian bug list, bugs distribution list. So it's just a place where people talk about bugs in distributions. Person writes that, hey, whoever's maintaining the neofetch package for Debian, you got to know that it's kind of looking like it's unmaintained. But there's a fork here that continues to work called hyfetch. More information here as well about what's going on with it. And in your Debian system, you could do app cache show neofetch. And you see that it's Linux information. It's this product, Dylan, neofetch. It's at version 7.10, which is, you can see, from 2020. So yeah, it's kind of old in open source time, I suppose. It just hasn't been updated, and so this post led me to look at hyfetch. It's a neofetch with a bunch of LGBTQ pride. That's cool. And last commit was 16 hours ago, so they're definitely doing stuff. And here the author, this person, hyfetch, who basically forked the project, and it seems like from, like, I think I looked at one of these merge pull requests. What did I find here? Yeah, when I looked at this last pull request, I click into it, opened 2 weeks ago. He says, hey, something's wrong when you try this on Windows 11, on WSL2, etc., etc., etc. He writes all this. Wow, this is pretty cool. But then here is hyfetch, the author of hyfetch, and he says, hey, I merged this into my project since neofetch is no longer maintained. So I think it's interesting that this project has kind of gone, or maybe the maintainer is no longer interested in doing stuff with it, and instead of taking it over, I mean, it is these are under a person's name. That's what you can do with open source. You can fork it and take it over. And so I think, as a cool exercise, first of all, I don't think anybody's packaged hyfetch. Yeah, so it's not available yet, but you can install it using pip. Now, I don't want this to be a how do I run pip? How do I use Python? That would plenty of YouTube on that. But I am familiar with pip and Python, and I think I also do have a virtual environment that I can dump into, just so I can put it into a private area. And this means that my Python is let's make sure it's the right one, 3.9.2. so that's good. And this pip, if I list it, no mod. Oh, so funny. I thought I had pip on this thing. Let me try that again. I think I'm not exactly sure why I didn't have pip with that virtual environment, but yeah, so I have it here. I think what I'll do is I'll go and install hyfetch using this, and I think I'll need to be root, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what happens. This is the new version of neofetch, a fork. That's not bad. That's not a bad result. It put it into my .local bin. I don't think there's anything in here besides this right now. Hyfetch and neofetch. So yeah, all stuff from today. So it's not in my path, but you know what? We can put it in my path. I have here. That's what I have, but I can say export path equal what is it? Home rick dot local and then $path. Now I can do which hyfetch, and now let's try it. Whoa! So it looks pretty cool. It's available flags. It's interesting. I don't see any available flags here. I will pick rainbow. Which brightness level looks best? Let's go for... I'll go for 50. Let's choose a color arrangement. Horizontal, vertical. Hard to tell what exactly I'm choosing between, but I think I'll go with horizontal and just have it be the default. Save it. I don't know where it's saving it, but all right. Yeah, roughly the same information. In fact, I'll just run neofetch. I'm gonna make the window a little bigger. So there you go. It's good. I think a lot of the merge requests that are coming in, or the issues that are coming in, are still on the very popular neofetch. But yeah, be advised that there's a new game in town with hyfetch. Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting to look at. The switch over to my next topic, and that topic is htop. When you're on Unix, one of the things that you want to do is just figure out what exactly is running on your system. And oh yeah, let me make sure I covered all of this stuff. Yeah. So the way you do that is, I mean, when you first start out with Unix, you'll learn about the ps command, then all of its myriad switches like ps-e, ps-aux, lots of variations. At work, I've been doing one that looks like this. PID args. Wait, stime, etime. What this does is it shows the PID number, the start time, which in this case was when it first booted. These are the various commands that I've run. I think that's authentication, pipewire, I don't know what. all of these things are, but this is what's running on my system as myself, as the -u RIC user, PID, stime, etime, args. Then, as you progress in your Unix career, you're often dealing with live running systems running Unix. That's probably why you know Unix so well. You're sitting in front of a Unix server and it's running something that's hot, and you have to figure out what's going on, what's the memory, and there are all these different commands to get that information. Like VM stat is one, and also information for IO stats, which I guess I don't have it here. But eventually some system administrator will clue you in on top. And top is an interactive display that shows a lot of information about your running system. You can see it's got information per user, and it also showed information on percentage of CPU, percentage of memory, the actual command that's being used, and you'll also notice that it's updating. In this case, if you look at the time, it's updating every 3 seconds. Now, I thought that top was fantastic when I saw it for the first time. I thought, oh my God, this is incredible. And then it turns out that you can actually do, you press question mark, you get all this information that comes with top. And anyway, so I stopped that operational role and I left that job thinking top is cool, it's the new thing. Fast forward to, I think, maybe like 3-4 years ago, I learned from somebody about a new process viewer called htop. And I watched this video by the creator of htop, which is this person from Brazil, Hisham. And when you run htop, you get roughly the same things, but one of the powerful things that it gives you is that you can look at the entire, you can scroll through the list. Believe it or not, that's something you could not do in top. It had a fixed pane of showing you the items. Further, with htop, you have the ability to do filtering. So if I do F4, I can do a filter like RIC, and that'll show all the rows that have in their command the word RIC. Now, while I was preparing for this, I tried to figure out how to filter by a user. I have not been successful, but I know it's possible. I think it's not list. I like the tree mode. Maybe it was F2. No. Maybe it was maybe if I expand this to the right. Nope. But suffice to say, this was amazing when I saw this because of its extra utility. The fact that you can scroll right was something also that was profoundly game-changing when I learned that htop had this, because again, my knowledge of top pretty much ended at about, like, say 5-6 years ago. It turns out when you listen to his YouTube presentation from 2018, he writes that top has since added the capability to scroll down and page across. So if I quit htop and do top, you can scroll down. Boy, I actually don't know how to do that. Maybe it was the top on the Mac. Kinda. Yeah, you can definitely scroll right on top, but the display, it's fine. I definitely got used to this display, and one of the things I liked about top was that it had this batch mode, so you could do top minus B, and it'll dump the display information. But htop for the simple stuff that I was doing work for, just to see how big processes get. It was cool to see this. Htop separates out the different CPUs that are here. There's a 4-core machine, but it also does the memory. So one thing that I thought would be cool is to run some load, and you can see the various things. Like if I do a sort, I'll do F6 here. Oh yeah, so F6 is the sort, and if I do sort on CPU, you can see that it's a it's sorting by CPU, and I thought I could change the it's descending. Now I thought there was a way to make this ascending. But I think that was the main, those are the main things that I wanted to convey with this. This is ascending. If I do I control F? Nope. But htop, a cool utility that is constantly evolving. It is available on a lot of different machines. Like here, this is top, but on the Mac, so I meant to do this. Let's install htop using brew. That could be like its own episode also, brew. Yeah. Oh boy. Now it's so I'm installing htop on the Mac, and my goal was to see if I could do some of the other functions on here that I'm not able to figure out over here. Yeah, maybe what I'll do is another deeper dive on htop. I think there was a, oh yeah, and then F5 filter function, F4 on here. F5. thought there was a way I can also do, yeah, I can, I press question mark in htop, and yeah, a lot of information. Yeah, you can do this. This is something that I couldn't do in top, sort by the user, but if I press U, I can see all the different users that have running processes, and now I can do Rick, and I can see all of my running processes. There's not a lot here, and like if I did this tab thing, I don't have tmux running, but if I do another tab, I can add some load to this system. I can do something like before people get crazy on this, like where's that coming from? At work, I do stuff with Kubernetes, and one of the things they do to teach you things about Kubernetes jobs is, hey, go and start a pod with a long-running job. So this command starts a long-running job, and if I run this command, let me go and do a copy paste here. Yeah. That's going to print pi with 1,500 characters. And now you see I pegged one of my CPUs. If I were to Control Z this, that stops the process. And now the CPU has gone back down. But if I run another one, and stop that, there's now 2 jobs, but if I start both of them, I don't know if this will work. Yeah, foreground per background. Yikes. Yeah, it was this one. I wanted to do the BG command. This is yeah, so here it printed that 1,500 characters of pi, and if I do that command again, it did too, but I wanted to run it like a couple of times, so I'm just gonna do with the question mark, I mean the ampersand. I've run 4 of these jobs, and my pi, you can see it's now overworked, and you can see with the sorting that, yeah, the thing that's taking 100% of the CPU right now, it's these 4 Perl processes, and htop lets you hone in on that. The other tools, top also does too, but I think the display with htop is just a little neater. So I really like learning about htop. I think I'm going to save the topic on tmux and screen for another time. I'll get into it in some detail. Oh boy, I was gonna say, how's this going? Let's make sure htop runs on the Mac. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, then I can search on the different users. This is how the Mac works. Everybody's a user. All these different processes. It's my wife has some stuff on here. What is she doing on here? That might be like some old stuff here. If I do back to me, you could see, oh, I see, the CPU is descending. So you could see what processes are taking the most. Clearly it's OBS right now. But it's cool to see the breakdown of the processes in this way. Yeah, so tmux, we're going to get into it in another episode, but I do spend time on the terminal, and because I do, I'm not a fan of tabs, like pressing tab to look at something is to open up another window is kind of like, I'm not into it. I'd rather do something like let me exit this thing. I'd rather multiplex the terminal that I'm looking at so that I can see stuff. And my history of this goes way back to I think it's on here. Okay, I'll just do I'm gonna install Screen just for old time's sake. I don't have any of my settings either. But if I run Screen, you get this window here. We've got some capabilities. Press enter, and what it gives you is the ability to quickly create a separate terminal. So you could do something like Control A C, and you get a terminal here. Now we don't. You can't tell, but if I did TTY, you could see this is pseudo terminal number 3. But if I do Control A space, that goes to my previous terminal, which is PT pseudo terminal 0. And so I exit this, and I am gonna now do something like this. Screen, is it much? Let me just do a quick, yeah, okay. I can do Screen SSH SDF, and that'll open up a third window that will basically say, that will open up a third window, which will be me shelling into another system. And this is all within one terminal, which is very powerful when you're spending your whole day just looking at things like htop or cool things like neofetch. You're in a terminal. Now, in this day and age with Windows systems, this is almost archaic, but it's an important skill, and one that is good to pick up. Screen was the software that enabled me to become a little faster on the command line, and it's, with this, I did Control A W. You can see that I have 3 terminals here, and if I jump over to 2, I know I have a Screen RC here. Yeah, I have this caption, and I can grab this thing, paste it, and now I have this little caption here that shows the different terminals as I bounce around them. It's a little easier to see what's happening. Plus it's got the time on here, all this cool stuff. Yeah. Anyway, this is what I learned. This is where I learned about terminal multiplexing. It's again, very, very powerful. The next step up from screen, there are lots of different websites that talk about the differences between screen and tmux. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. When I come on again and talk about Unix, I'm going to talk about how I use tmux and what are some of its unique capabilities that are really cool. And yeah, so I have a long history with screen. How old is this screen? RC 2010. Okay, well, I don't know if it's, maybe it is that old. Jeepers, that's an old file. What's my tmux command here? Okay, 2019. Okay, so, all right, you found the old timer, but the key is I spent a lot of time on screen. I now spend a lot of time on tmux, and the next time I'm on, I'm going to talk your ear off about tmux and how I use it and some of its cool capabilities. It's a lot like screen. It makes working on the terminal fun and easy and fast. We're going to get into that the next time. So I appreciate you checking this out. Totally do. And we'll catch up with everybody next time.